Hello everybody, welcome back to the Dugout Football channel, where we're starting a bit of a new series on the channel. Obviously everyone knows about Super 6, I basically decided to start this series. I've been joined by my good friend Nick Denning. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, not too bad. Obviously Super 6 is something we both like doing, and it was your idea that you came up with this, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I thought it's quite fun because me and you have always talked about Super 6 and it's quite fun. It's something I've done with my family as well. You know, I don't know why more people shouldn't do it because it is basically a free lottery ticket. Some weeks you can win £1 million. Not that I've ever got close to winning £1 million, but it's a fun thing to do. And I thought it might be a good little competitive rivalry for me and you to do over this season, a Liverpool fan and a Man United fan. And maybe we could talk through why we think these teams will win and just see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, if anyone hasn't played Super 6, it's free to play. Obviously, 18 and over. Obviously, gamble aware, etc. But this weekend, there's £1 million up for grabs. Not a bad wee start to Super 6. So, basically, predict six correct scores, and obviously you get a chance of a golden goal as well. Basically predict 6 correct scores, and you are there for 1 million. So the games we have at the weekend are West Ham against Newcastle and Crystal Palace against Southampton. So there are 2 in the Premier League. And then we have 4 games from the Championship. We've got Bournemouth against Blackburn, Huddersfield against Norwich, Queen's Park Rangers against Nottingham Forest, and Derby against Reading. So first game is West Ham against Newcastle. Nick, how do you see both of these sides doing this season?
I actually think Newcastle, they're showing a bit more. They're going quite well in the transfer market, aren't they? Showing a bit more there. I think Newcastle are going to do better. I think it's going to be one of their better seasons. I think it'll be one of their better seasons. Like, you know, the money's there. Then, you know, it's a bit gutted for the fans that the Saudi takeover, you know, didn't materialise. But, you know, Newcastle are a club with a massive loyal fan base, aren't they? You know,
yeah,
more passionate than the Geordies. You know that their whole life is Alan Shearer and brown ale, isn't it? That's a Geordie. But I've got a feeling that Newcastle will be one of their better seasons in years. I think West Ham, they just can never really get going. West Ham, do they? Like, they always seem. I think that it'll be a normal season for West Ham. I think they'll stay up, but I don't think pushing into the top half. But I think Newcastle is my bet for the top half this season.
Interesting. I have to say, West Ham, there's not much money in that club. So they're going to have to sell to buy. It basically reminds me of our situation at the moment, where we're having to sell to buy as well. Newcastle, they could be getting 3 good signings in Callum Wilson, Jamal Lewis, and who's the other one? We've got Jeff Hendrick, Ryan Fraser as well. So if they get those 3 players in before the start of the season, then they're good going. However, they are without Martin Dubravka, and this is why I think this is going to be a West Ham win here. I just think with the way that they've got after the Newcastle game, I think it's got a run of like Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Liverpool. I think it's Leicester, and there's somebody else in between that. But it's a hell of a bad run that for them. So for me, I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to West Ham in this game.
Oh, that's surprising. I think Callum Wilson looks like the offer's been accepted, and so he's he's going to have a medical. I think he's a great player if he stays fit. He's a proven goal scorer, Callum Wilson. I've got a feeling about Newcastle this year, so I'm actually going for 2-0 Newcastle.
Oh, interesting.
So we've completely gone the other side there.
Which probably means it'll be a draw, and we're both completely wrong. Okay, second game is Crystal Palace against Southampton. Now, when I look at these 2 teams, one, I think Southampton are going in for a good season. I think they're in for a top half finish. Your dad will be pretty pleased with that because he's a Saints fan. Yeah. Crystal Palace, I feel they're going to struggle this season. So, how do you feel about these 2 teams?
Yeah, I think Southampton are a good side. Like they generally don't start that well, do they? Southampton, like last season, they were really struggling. Well, no, actually, I think they actually didn't have Liverpool first game. Or was it their first game? But they should have won that game, I thought. as well. But then things started going wrong. Then they had that hammering by Leicester, and then it was like the best thing to happen to them, because ever since then they picked up, and they had one of the best away forms in the league last season. I think Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace are going to struggle this season. I think it might be that they might be fighting for relegation. I just don't see it. And I think Zaha's probably going to go as well. I know there's a couple of weeks left, because you got to think it's his last chance for a decent move, isn't it? Because he's pushing on towards the. So I'm going to go for, because I don't think Southampton always start that well, but I think they'll win. I'm going for 1-0 Southampton.
1-0 Southampton. Well, funnily enough, I'm going for a Southampton win. I've gone for a 2-1 win to Southampton. Just the reason is their away form last season, as you said, past lockdown, I think they were unbeaten for about 12-13 games or something. So it's very, very good for Southampton to do that. So that takes care of the Premier League games. Now we've got 4 in the Championship. Now, obviously, one of these teams got relegated last season was Bournemouth. Now, Jason Tyndall's taken over at Bournemouth, but it does look like they're being picked apart. Nathan Ake is away. It looks like Ryan Fraser is definitely away. Callum Wilson looks like he's on his way out. There's even talk of Lewis Cook and David Brooks as well. How do you feel about Bournemouth going into the Championship season this season?
Well, I actually live near Bournemouth, and it used to be our favourite away day for me and Amy to go to watch United. But it was a great run club, but they never had the stadium, did they really? Even that's a nice stadium, to generate the money. And Eddie Howe was a fantastic manager. I worry for them. I do really worry, and the way they've been picked apart as well. And you see this happen quite a lot, double relegations, don't you? And I worry that could happen to Bournemouth. I really hope I'm wrong. But what did you score this then?
It's a really hard one, because obviously, I thought Blackburn were one of those teams that really underperformed last season. I think they should have been aiming towards the playoffs, and they fell well away from the playoffs. Tricky one. I think Bournemouth will start with a win here, to be honest. I actually do think, because it's home advantage, Blackburn's away form's not the best, so I'm actually going to go for a very narrow 2-1 win to Bournemouth.
I'm going the other way again. I just think your first game, sometimes when you come down from the Premier League and the way they've been picked apart, I think they're going to lose, and I think they might lose 2-0, and that's what I'm going for. I've just got a feeling. I think I agree with you though. The way form of Blackburn are, but they're such a hit and miss team, Blackburn, aren't they? Sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. I always think there's that, when you get relegated form. I'm going for maybe it's just a gut feeling. Maybe I'm probably going to be wrong again, but I'm going 2-0 Blackburn.
2-0 Blackburn. Interesting. Huddersfield against Norwich. Now, let me just say, Huddersfield got knocked out of the Carabao Cup yesterday by who was it? I actually cannot think for the life of who they got knocked out by, but it was someone in the lower league, so that was a bit of a shock. They're playing Norwich City, who again were knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Luton Town by 3-1. So both of these sides haven't started very well. But looking at obviously Huddersfield and Norwich, obviously Daniel Farke is still at Norwich, but looks like Norwich could be picked apart again, because obviously there is talk that Jamal Lewis is looking like he's going to Newcastle. I think there's talk that Godfrey has been linked with a couple of Premier League clubs. Aarons as well. He's been linked with Bayern Munich, believe it or not, as well. How do you find this game, Nick?
Again, I think I'm sticking with my gun where I say that I think teams struggle with their first game in the Championship. They're not really expecting it, and I think they have lost they're losing a few players, Norwich, but Huddersfield, they're not. I've gone for 1-0 Huddersfield. I think it could be a draw, but I think 1-0 Huddersfield. I think they might edge it, but Norwich got all the chance in this game. But if Norwich were at home, I think they would win. But because it's away, first game, I think it'll be 1-0. That's what my prediction.
Interesting. I've gone 2-0 Norwich.
Well, you're completely different every game.
Yeah, I know. I think only the Southampton game is the one we both agree on for being the Southampton win. But no, if I'm being honest, who knows what Norwich City turn up this season?
Yeah.
You know, they could easily blitz everyone in the league again and win it again. But I don't know. Huddersfield, they were on the cusp of relegation last season. I do worry for them this season.
Yeah.
Not going to lie. Now, two teams that, let's be honest, were in the playoff mix again. I think they're going to be in the playoff mix again this season. QPR against Nottingham Forest. And obviously, QPR have lost Eze to Crystal Palace, but they have brought in Lyndon Dykes from Livingston. That's a great signing for them. Yeah. Whereas Nottingham Forest have lost Matty Cash to Aston Villa as well. How do you see this one going?
I think, again, I agree. It's going to be there. I reckon they'll both be around the playoff mix, like Forest do, but they always seem to drop off, don't they? Forest are traditionally good starters, aren't they? They are really good starters, and they a bit like how Leeds were. They used to blitz it, didn't they, and then struggled. I think they'll both be around that. I think it's going to be a tight game, this one, and that's why I've scored it as a 1-1 draw.
Oh, interesting. I've gone for a goal fest. I've actually gone for a goal fest in this one. I've gone 3-2 QPR.
Oh, that'll be a good game to watch. Hopefully it is for the neutral, or for the fans that won't be there.
Certainly will be. And the final game to obviously preview and predict is Derby against Reading. Now, Derby, again, another team that fell very, very well away from the playoffs last season. Yeah. So they'll want to improve for sure. Whereas Reading, change of manager, because Mark Bowen has now left the club. So they're now managed by a new buddy. So that's going to be very interesting. How do you see this one going?
Derby in my list package for the season. I think they're going to get promoted. I think that, I think with Rooney coaching as well. I think they're going to. I reckon they might. I think they're going to be right up there. They're my tip for promotion. I don't know if they'll win the league, but I think they might get it through the playoffs or second.
Oh, Lincoln.
Oh, Liverpool in the third round got Bradford or Lincoln.
Ooh.
Away that is. Amy's just watching the draw. So yeah, that's away. Liverpool away to Bradford or Lincoln. That's just come up. So I've actually gone for 2-0 Derby in this game.
I've gone 3-0 Derby. I think Reading with the new manager, it'll be really, really interesting, but I just can't see Reading beating Derby. I do agree. I think they will be a surprise package. Obviously, they've still got Wayne Rooney, and he still looks like he could play, until he's 40.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, guys, I'm sure everyone else has different opinions to me and Nick. But yeah, obviously, as I said, Super 6 is free to play. £1 million up for grabs, and as I said, it is free to play. So give yourselves a chance at it. But yeah, we'll be doing this weekly, because obviously some weeks you'll have games in midweeks as well. Not sure how we're going to be able to do that, but we'll try and figure something out anyway. But no, Nick, absolutely pleasure to do this first video with you, and we shall see what happens. And we will be making a mini league for people as well. So yeah, it should be good fun, and hopefully get the podcast crew as well involved in this as well. But no, absolute pleasure to do this first video with you, and we shall see what happens.
Hopefully £1 million for one of us.
Fingers crossed. And we'll see you all later. If you do like this content, then please hit that subscribe button, smash the like on this video, and yeah, good luck. £1 million up for grabs. Could be yours. See you later.